So, you've got the acceptance letter, that dream of studying abroad. It's happening. But let's be real, between the dream and the reality, there are some pretty big challenges. That voice of self-doubt, the absolutely massive workloads, and, the pressure of being completely on your own. So how do you actually build a plan to succeed? Let's break it down.
What if I told you that the whole path to success abroad could be unlocked with just 5 core ideas? Look, this isn't about having all the answers right now, not at all. It's about building the mindset to find those answers right when you need them the most.
Before a single application gets filled out, before any flight is booked, it all starts with that vision, right? And it's so easy to just write that off as a dream, but that initial vision, that's the actual foundation for everything that's about to come. Eleanor Roosevelt just hits the nail on the head here. The future doesn't just automatically belong to the student with the best grades or the biggest bank account. No, it belongs to the ones who can hold on to that vision of what's possible, especially when things get tough.
Think of your belief like it's the engine for this whole journey. Because when a professor questions your idea, or you're feeling a little lonely and you start to doubt yourself, this core belief is what you come back to. It's that internal fire that keeps you going when all the external motivation just fizzles out.
Of course, the moment that dream really takes hold, the doubts are never far behind. And you know what? That is completely normal. So let's just face those internal hurdles head on.
I bet these worries sound pretty familiar, right? But what's so important to realize is that they aren't unique to you. Whether it's language skills, money, or that anxiety about fitting in, pretty much every single student who goes abroad faces this exact same list of fears. You are not alone in this. This piece of wisdom from the legendary coach John Wooden is the perfect antidote. It's all about making a strategic shift in your focus. See, dwelling on what you don't have is just a dead end. The real key is to zero in on what you can control and what you can improve.
This is such a powerful way to flip the script on those fears. Okay, so your English isn't perfect? Well, that forces you to become a better listener, a more determined communicator. Limited funds? That just demands you get creative with scholarships and budgeting. And worrying about fitting in? That can fuel a powerful hunger to succeed and through yourself. Your so-called weaknesses are often the very things that end up forging your greatest strengths.
All right, so we've talked about that internal battle, but what about the external one? You know, the sheer volume of coursework, those looming exams, the competitive pressure? It can feel like a total tidal wave.
I mean, this is probably the #1 external fear students have when they first look at a syllabus. The whole thing just seems impossible from the starting line. So how in the world do you even begin to tackle it?
You handle it with this amazing insight from Robert Collier. See, success isn't some heroic giant leap. It's the sum of small, consistent efforts. It's not about pulling one all-nighter before the final. It's about that focused hour you put in every single day in and day out.
So here's how you actually put that into practice. Let's say you've got a 20-page paper due in a month. Forget about the 20 pages. Break it down. Your goal for today is just to finalize the thesis statement. That's it. That's a small, achievable win. So celebrate it. Tomorrow, you outline one section. See? By stacking up these small, celebrated wins, you build momentum, and that makes the final goal feel, well, inevitable. Now, managing that daily grind requires a very specific skill, and it's one you are forced to develop when you're abroad. True independence. I mean, for maybe the first time in your life, there's no safety net. There's no one there making sure you're getting the work done.
I love this quote. We don't even know who said it, but man, is it one of the most powerful truths of this entire journey. Nobody is going to wake you up for class. Nobody is going to force you to finish that assignment. It is all on you.
But here's the reframe. That independence isn't a burden. It's your greatest asset. Learning to be your own motivator, to build that internal discipline, that's the core skill that prepares you not just for a degree, but for pretty much any challenge life is going to throw at you later on.
So, you've nurtured that belief, you've managed your doubts, you've conquered the work, and you've embraced your independence. But what's it all for? Let's connect all this personal growth to its ultimate, bigger purpose.
Nelson Mandela really said it best. This whole journey you're on, it's about so much more than a diploma or a better salary. It's about equipping yourself with the knowledge, the tools, and the perspective to become an agent of change, first in your own life and then in the world around you.
So really, these 5 ideas aren't just inspirational words on a screen. They're a mental toolkit. Think of them as life lessons from all the people who have walked this path before you. They are that voice of resilience in your head when you feel tired.
that spark of courage in your heart when you feel doubt, and the constant reminder that every single great achievement begins with simple, unwavering determination.
Because ultimately, this is your journey. You're the one holding the pen. With these ideas in your back pocket, you're not just a student abroad. You're the author of your own story. The first page is blank, so what are you going to write?